in the transatlantic trade. Now, put your feelings aside about religion because you see this woman, this is a historical depiction of an actual person. Now, you see what she's holding in her hand. This may have happened to your ancestors by her people, literally. Now, we're going to approach this historically. You're looking at a map of Negro land off the west coast of Africa. Now, it's a lot of debate about this map. I'm going to zoom in and show you why. Okay, notice where it says Kingdom of Judah or Widdah. The debate is, what does Judah mean and who really lived there and what happened to the people? Well, let's see what the primary sources and the historical documents say. This will be part one of the Transatlantic J series. So let's get into it. Now, you have to know where Negro land is, just in case you're not familiar. At the top is a map of West Africa, and at the bottom of the screen, you can see the Niger River. The Niger River flows through Negro land in Guinea. These regions are going to be important. Now, let's start with this account. It's called Atlas Geographus, published in 1714. We'll be coming from volume number 4. We'll be reading from page number 39. Now, at the top of the screen is the snippet from the actual book. In the middle is just a little easier to read. I have the same phrases underlined. Let's read. It says, some of the Jays who inhabit both sides of the Niger derived themselves from Abraham. Others fled hither from Asia when Vespasian destroyed Jerusalem, or from Judea when 'twas wasted by the Romans. So we already have a 1700s account placing Jays on both sides of the Niger River, aka Negro land in Guinea. And notice the author said some of them fled here when Judea was wasted by the Romans. We're talking first century. So some of these tribes have first century origins. I want to establish the historicity as well as the antiquity of these people, okay? Now let's get a French account, okay? Now, let me refresh your memory. Let's zoom in. We're talking about this region off the west coast of Africa, aka the Slave Coast. See where it says Kingdom of Judah or Widdah. Let's see what this French account says about Widdah or Judah. Now, at the bottom of the screen is the original French source from Reckless, page number 487, published in 1887. Now, we're going to read from the English translation at the top. I have the English and the French phrases both underlined in red. Okay, so let's read. Now, I want you to notice one thing. You see the first thing I have underlined. It says Dahomey. That's going to be important. Widdah or Judah is in the Dahomey territory. Okay. Now skip down 3 lines from Dahomey. We're going to start reading where it says Europeans have designated by the various names of Fidda, Wedda, Widda, or Widda. The ancient authors called it Judah. Its inhabitants were called the Judaics, and they were indeed considered as a remnant of the scattered tribes of Israel. Okay, so we have an historical French account that has just placed Israelites in Widdah or Judah. I want to stress that this account has placed Israelites in Widdah or Judah. So regardless of what you think the etymology is, people are debating on what Judah or Widdah really means. We have accounts placing Israelites in that region, regardless of the etymology. That's important. Now remember, Widdah is in Dahomey. Okay, now this is a well-known Y&T scholar, Dr. Alan H. Godbey. He does not look like us. This won't be Afrocentric. He lived in the 1800s. This map he published was in 1930. Okay, we're still in the Dahomey and Widdah region. Notice what I have circled in the green. It says Dahomey Jays. Okay, so this is another account placing Jays in the Dahomey region. And let me say this wasn't isolated. Okay, look to the left of the green circle. You see the Ashanti region? It says Jayish traces. Look to the right. It says Ephraim. Let me say this. There are documented Israelite tribes all over various coasts in Africa. Regardless of how you feel about the scriptures, we have historical accounts. Okay? So what happened to the people in Widdah or Judah? Well, let's take a look at this newspaper clipping published in 1851 called the Jeffersonian Republican. Now, I'm not going to read this whole article. You can pause the screen. I'm going to summarize it. Basically, the natives of Dahomey were taking people to Widdah to be sold to these slave merchants and shipped across the Atlantic. And if you read the last two lines, it said, let me read that. It says, their proceeds formed the sole revenue for the Dahomean king. This was big business taking people. It said their sole revenue was taking people from the Widdah and Dahomey region. Okay? Again, wasn't isolated. And if you look at the map below, it was happening all over the coast of Africa. They were taking people to North, South America, and the Caribbean. But let's see if we can get some details on who in Dahomey was taking these people. Well, you're looking at the Dahomey Amazons. This is an all-female military group. And this is a depiction of one of their leaders. This is a female warrior. Notice what she has in her hand. Okay? Again, they were literally taking people. I'm zooming in, letting you see some of them. In Dahomey. Okay? Now, here's another clipping. This is from the same newspaper, the Jeffersonian Republican, published in 1851. You can pause the screen if you want a little more details about them. Now, coming up in part 2, we're going to get into physical descriptions about complexion, the origins, more primary sources, ship records. We're going to go way deeper. I just wanted to establish the historicity and antiquity of these people. Now, notice what's on the screen. Why is Gulf of the Jays on a map in Africa? This map was published in 1492. Let me zoom in off the coast of Africa. You see where the arrow, it says Golfo de Judeo. That's Gulf of the Jays. So bookmark or follow, because we're going to find out who they were.
Honey, it's not what the deep state calls